NACHO Beristain, famed trainer, warns Manny Pacquiao about taking a Terence Crawford or Lomachenko fight. Stay tuned. Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chat channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Much respected trainer out of Mexico, the Romanza gym, NACHO Beristain. Juan Manuel Marquez trainer. At one point he trained De La Hoya and Ricardo Finito Lopez, among other greats like that, and even guys like Johnny Gonzalez, who knocked out Abner Mares. He did an interview with ESPN Deportes, shout out to them, link in the description, and he addressed his concern with Pacquiao at 39 fighting the likes of Vasyl Lomachenko and Terence Crawford. NACHO Beristain says, "I would not like to see those fights that talk of Lomachenko or Crawford. I've always hated that a promoter wants to take advantage of the remains of a fighter who must go to the Museum of Glory to serve as a stepping stone or a step to another." Right? I see very difficult that a fighter like Pacquiao, who wins as many titles as he did, and they want to take advantage to beat him with Crawford. Maybe with Lomachenko have some opportunity, but I do not like that fight. So he says he don't like either of those fights for Manny Pacquiao. And although I understand where he's coming from, he's saying like using someone as a stepping stone. Part of it is the fighters have to be smart and make smart investments and work on their defense and do the things that give them longevity in the sport to the point where they're not just one-dimensional brawlers and stuff like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is older than Pacquiao, but people wanted to see him fight a much bigger, younger Conor McGregor. You know, Maidana, Pacquiao. Guys that were younger like Victor Ortiz. And it was never a problem. Canelo. But they wouldn't want to see Pacquiao do it. You know why? Because Pacquiao, the way he fights, him fighting a much bigger Canelo would give him mad problems at 154, 155, stuff like that. Right? Him fighting Crawford. Right? Lomachenko. That's why Beristein's truly worried. So I understand the notion of what he's saying, but the other thing is, like I said, the fighters have to be smart with their careers, manage their money, get into the right things like investment wise, and you know, just have an exit strategy overall. And I understand what he's talking about with the stepping stone, but at the end of the day, if you're a champion and you want to continue fighting at 39, then it is what it is. And just a few years ago, people were saying that Crawford would get destroyed by Pacquiao. So I think it's a good fight. I think Crawford would win. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, who am I to say? I just want to see it. I think, and see, another thing that I think that's unfair is, since we're talking about unfair things, Terence Crawford has beaten the quality guys in or around his division or whatnot, but he doesn't have a name like a Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? So you're kind of, fans are going to always be able to try to play certain guys like Wilder or whoever the person is if they're not presented with the certain name. So it's kind of how, it's like the circle of life or something. It's kind of how boxing goes. You know, Oscar De La Hoya got Julio Cesar Chavez and it was on and cracking after he beat him twice. Stopped him, you know? Guys like Costa Tszyu beat Julio Cesar Chavez, then it was on and popping for him. Floyd beat De La Hoya, it was on and popping for him. Pacquiao beat De La Hoya, it was on and popping for him. So you can't get mad if Pacquiao fights Crawford, but the same could be said for De La Hoya. De La Hoya at a late age in his career dropped down after being stopped by Bernard Hopkins, and then Pacquiao moved up and got to him, and Pacquiao looked sensational in that fight and beat up on De La Hoya, and then he retired. So, you know, this is kind of how it goes. Bermane Stiverne, Joe Smith Jr. knocked him out of the fucking ring and out of the galaxy, out of this ozone layer, right? Kovalev, same thing. But then Bernard Hopkins has also done that to Kelly Pavlik. He took the younger guy and stopped. So, you know, it's boxing. It kind of goes both ways. So I think most of it's fear, because you respect your rival, your contemporary. Marquez and Pacquiao have a long saga. So if he fights Lomachenko and loses or gets beat the fuck up by Terence Crawford, then, you know what I mean, you don't want to necessarily see someone go out like that, especially your contemporary. But like I said, it's kind of the circle of life. It is what it is. And it's unfortunate that, again, if you're a champion, drop the title. If you like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say I want to continue fighting, but then not want to fight nobody. You know what I mean? And then be a champion on top of that. So vacate your title and say I'm going on a farewell tour and see how that does for you, and try to rack up some money so fans at least know what it is. But you can't say, hey, I'm the WBA regular champ, but then you don't want to fight nobody. You don't want to unify. You don't want to consolidate with Keith Thurman. You know, it's just kind of the nature of it. So, and I'm sure Juan Manuel Marquez and different people that Berristein had probably took on somebody who was kind of at the twilight of their career. It's kind of how boxing is, you know what I mean? Like Roy Jones Jr. fought Vinny Pazienza. I mean, how youthful was Pazienza at that time? And Roy Jones was an up-and-comer and fresh, and, you know, it was a good fight, but ultimately we know what happened in that fight. So that's just my thoughts. I understand where he's coming from. I can't knock him. You want to see fighters go out on their own, you know what I mean, like Andre Ward and Mayweather did, but it seldom happens in the sport of boxing, is what I'm saying. And like I said, it's just, you could look at it both ways. Pacquiao fought an older De La Hoya and kind of came up big after he beat him. So you have to give the young guys, especially as a champion, like the Lomachenkos and Terence Crawford, maybe a crack. The only reason I don't really want to see the Lomachenko fight now is because Lomachenko's team, or at least his manager, Igis Klimas, came out recently and said Pacquiao has to drop down 2 weight classes to fight him. So for that reason, I don't want to see that's different, because I don't want to see Pacquiao go from 47 backwards and try to reverse time to 135. Yes, Pacquiao is small, but if you're trying to make a weight you haven't had to make, then that's giving a huge advantage to your opponent. And to my knowledge, they were talking about fighting Pacquiao at 140. And they say they're not even doing a catch weight. He has to come down to the pure 135. So they can miss me with that fight. I don't really care about the fight now. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that's fair for Pacquiao, the legend, you know what I mean, who's arguably the A side in that equation, and then have him try to reverse time and come back to division. So I'm not tripping. But Crawford's in the division as a WBO champion, and he should have been given the shot at Pacquiao instead of Jeff Horn. He wasn't given that. And then they gave it to Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn dethrones Pacquiao. And then Terence Crawford dethrones Jeff Horn. Pacquiao beats Lucas Matisse with ease. See, and this is the thing. People say all that, oh, Pacquiao's back, vintage Pacquiao. Okay, it's vintage Pacquiao, but you don't want to see him fight? You don't want to see him fight Crawford? I thought he was vintage Pacquiao. See, again, people, they have to pick a stance and run with it. Can't have your cake and eat it too. That's just my thoughts. I respect Nacho Beristain, but it is what it is. You get old in the game and want to keep fighting, especially as a champion, then there's young cats, middle-aged people, or whoever, they're going to be after you. You have that bullseye on your back. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.